Right, October red. Hold on. Why is it? He's paused. He's paused.
Forgot my poppy.
Oh, okay. I thought you was going to propose.
You didn't actually. Oh shit! I've just hold on. Stay there.
Hold on. Do you need any help? Do you want me to hold it or?
Yeah.
Do you?
That's it.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Let's turn it right. It's got to be turned around the right way though. It's upside down. Bit of admin before we start. Hold on. I've got to pan in and make sure we've got the poppy in. Remembrance Day. Remembrance Month.
Is that the right way?
There we go.
Is that all right?
There we go. We
just out of respect, you know, it had to be done. That. Sorry about that.
No.
Yeah, where are we going?
There is so many places to go, but what I will do is let's start here because we are here for a world title cruiserweight clash between Matthias Masternak and Chris Billam-Smith. Talk to me about that fight, Spen.
It's a great fight. You know, Masternak is one of those guys, former European champion, been around forever. Do you know what I mean? Been there, seen it, done it. 2006 was his debut, but he hasn't deteriorated through those years. You know, you go back to that 02, back in December 2015 when he boxed Tony Bellew. Close fight, tough fight. He come through, then he boxed in the World Boxing Super Series, lost to Dorcas in another close fight. What I'm saying is the fights that he's lost, what is he? He's had 52 fights now, 147, if I'm right. 52, 147, but you look at the fights that he's lost and, you know, he loses close fights, man. Like, this is a tough fight. I know it's a voluntary, but it's a tough fight for Chris Billam-Smith because stylistically, Masternak will bring it. He don't go anywhere. He holds his ground, and we know what Billam-Smith's all about. We know that that's what he likes as well. It's a great fight, man. I'm really looking forward to it, and it's good, you know, that boxing's back at Bournemouth again after Chris winning that world title back in May against Lawrence Okoli at the Vitality Stadium. Now he goes back to, you know, Bournemouth, and the fight's happening December the 10th. The reason that it's happening on the Sunday, the 10th, by the way, is because Bournemouth are playing away to Manchester, I think it is, and it gives the fans a chance to get back, and that's why the fight's happening on a Sunday. Because I know a lot of you guys are going to be looking at this going, fucking Sunday, why is it on a Sunday? So that's the reason behind it, just to give his loyal fans the chance to get back and go to the fight.
We love that loyalty there, taking into consideration about what the fans might be doing on the Saturday and ensuring that Chris Billam-Smith has got that home support on the day that he needs it, which is Sunday, the 10th of December.
There you go. That's exactly what it is. So that's what he's all about, isn't he? Like, Chris is one of those guys. He's like, he's like a fan's favourite, isn't he? I mean, he's loved down in Bournemouth. Hence why he boxes down there so much. He's got an unbelievable loyal following down there. And it's important for him to you know, make his first defence in front of his fans. Around Christmas time, it's going to be a great way to end the year. It's going to be, I've got to say, mate, this is like, I respect him for it because there was easier options out there for him, really. And a lot of people, by the way, that are asking, I thought, what about the immediate rematch with Lawrence Okoli? Because that rematch clause was in there and whatnot. Well, Lawrence Okoli needed more time to prepare. He will fight the winner of this, and now people are going to go, well, what about Richard Riakporhe, who's mandatory for the WBO? But I think that's been sorted out as well. Riakporhe was going to box elsewhere for the WBA. That's not gone through now, but he's still mandatory for the WBO. But I think Lawrence Okoli gets the winner of this, and then we go from there. And Riakporhe's in and around, he probably gets the winner of that, and that's where it is anyway. It's like, it's all panned out, and obviously with all the fighters under the boxer banner, it works well and everyone's going to get their shot.
Yeah, we like that, and we can touch on that in a bit because I understand that Lawrence Okoli, it was the massive 64,000 quid question online. What about Lawrence Okoli? Yeah. But we'll touch on that after. Talk to me about the two styles of Chris Billam-Smith. You break down fights. You're a former fighter. You understand it better than anyone. Talk to us about those styles because I've spoke to Matthias and he's mentioned experience. Talk to me about that.
Well, this is that's what, you know, this is what it's going to come down to. But you've got to remember now that Chris Billam-Smith has that experience as well. You know, going back to, when was it we lost to Riakporhe? 2019? 2019, he's having his 8th or 9th fight at that time, something like that. And, you know, that was the coming of age fight, if you like. Forget that he lost. He went back to the gym, and that either makes or breaks fighters. And it sort of made Chris, because it made him more determined. And you know, it's a fight that he wants, and it was always going to set up a big rematch in the future. And he's gone and he's had a great journey, winning British, Commonwealth, European, world titles. Do you know what I mean? And he's done it the hard way, so he's got that experience. And so if Masternak is relying on the fact that I have that experience going back to 2006, and I've been around, been there, seen it, done it. World Boxing Series, you know, but won the European title, etc., etc. Well, guess what? Billam-Smith is now that coming of like he has come of age, so he's dealt with those situations. He's been in those fights. You know what I mean? When you go back, this who was the other guy that he boxed? Who boxed just recently?
Jordan Thompson,
No. He when he boxed.
When who boxed?
When Chris Billam-Smith boxed.
The last fight.
Yeah, exactly. But the experience pulled him through that. It'll come to me in a minute. But the experience pulled him through that, you know. So he's been in those fights where he's had to dig deep, gets up, and he's going to have to do it here, by the way. It's going to be, because this is a tough fight for him. Like, Masternak will bring it. He's rough, he's crude, and but it's effective in what he does. It's all right, he's gone. So you thought because he was sitting there, weren't it? You thought I was just sweeting him up because he's a big, powerful pole, you know.
Well, it's not even that. When I talk about people, I like to look at them, and he was just behind us, so I was going to look at him. Yeah,
no, it's a good fight. It's a really good fight. But like I say, Billam-Smith now has been in those fights. He had Fight of the Year, didn't he? Who was that Fight of the Year last year against our guy that's just won the British title? He just beat Isaac Chamberlain, yeah. Isaac Chamberlain, I mean, what a fight that was, you know, where both guys had to ask themselves questions. Both guys were hurt, and Billam-Smith was in desperate trouble at the end with 20 seconds to go in the fight. But all that develops you as a fighter and puts you in this position. And now Chris has won the title. That takes you to another level again, because you're not the challenger, you're now the champion. You still need to train like the challenger. Don't make that mistake, but you are now the champion. And that elevates you to another level. And that will probably see Chris through. And this is a tough fight, though. I mean, Masternak, I know Masternak and the team, but they are supremely confident. It's a great fight, man. It's a great way to finish the year.
One of the things that they've been speaking about is obviously their sparring preparation for the fights. We talk about styles, and I'm going to put it to you. If Chris Billam-Smith wins this fight, how does he win? And then the same question about Matthias Masternak.
I think it's quite simple for both of these guys. I think the ending's very similar for both of the guys. Yep. Who buckles first is the question I'm going to ask, and that's where I see it. And I just think that it will happen in the last quarter of the fight. You're looking at 9, 10, 11, 12. One of them, because it comes down to, you heard me having that conversation earlier on, didn't you, with Matty Harris, when I'm talking about like leaving no stone unturned, and that it comes down to that psychological battle, that mental strength, who's got it, who's not got it, who's been there. Champions are made of that, you know what I mean? Champions and challengers, that's what differentiates them. Do you know? Does that make sense? As in, like, but Chris has got it, and Masnak's got it as well. They've got that champion's mentality, that mindset, but one of them's going to have to break. I believe it'll be Masternak, but I believe it'll be an absolute war. And this could be one of them fights that I think, I don't know if you see the final bell, but I think you'll be very close to seeing the final bell. I'm saying, I reckon 10, 11, 12, and I think one of them might just come undone, and I think that'll be Masternak.
But the thing is, another thing with Chris Billam-Smith is so unpredictable, because he can have that one power shot. Say, for example, we're in the mid-rounds where he just gets him and it's lights out. Yeah,
but you know what it is that makes this exciting, though? The way I just broke that down, as in who's going to win the fight, that could happen the other way.
Absolutely.
Like, that could happen the other way, and I wouldn't be like, oh my God, what's it like? What I'm saying is I just look at this and go, I like this fight. And I just think that extra wear and tear on Masternak might let him down in the backstretch of this fight, whereas Billam-Smith seems to have that momentum and, like I say, that champion's mindset. And I just believe that he's the fresher of the two, and he comes through. But, you know, like I say, that's what makes this fight exciting, because it ain't a foregone conclusion. It's one of them ones where you just go, you know what, this is interesting, this, because we've got to see what Masternak brings to the table, what he's got left, but also see, you know, how Billam-Smith gets on and deals with this rough, tough style.
I know it's going to be a good fight, and one of the things that I've said, it's gone under the radar a little bit, and I will be honest, the reason for it going under the radar is because we've had so much controversy over boxers, cruiserweight fighters, that unfortunately Chris Billam-Smith's had to take the fall, and no one's actually been congratulating him for being that world champion. Absolutely. And I said that's something I'm going to discuss with him today, because when you look at it, it's wrong, because why isn't he getting his flowers? He's a world champion.
I totally agree. You know, like you say, like with all the politics that surround boxing at the moment, and with what's going on in this, and I know that there's going to be this bullshit going on with Why didn't Billam-Smith have that immediate rematch with Lawrence Okoli? Well, listen, you've got to understand the business side of it and what's going on behind the scenes. Do you know what I mean? Lawrence Okoli has allowed for this fight to happen because he wants more time to prepare, get himself ready. He gets the shot at the winner. Richard Riakpor's in the mandatory #1 for this fight anyway. And I know he was going for the WBA shot against... the other one. I can't even pronounce his name. You know what I mean?
Gulamarian.
Gulamarian, there you go. I'm having a bad day with names today. Gulamarian, yeah. So that fight was going to happen, didn't happen through the politics, through the business side of things, that it wasn't allowed to happen. So that fight got stopped. So look, they're all there or thereabouts, and we are going to, the great news is 24-24, we're going to get this. We're going to get this, and this is going to happen. And I think with Boxer signing this new deal with NBC as well, and Peacock, and NBC's got a streaming site, Peacock, which has over 25 million followers on that. So like they're going to get that exposure across the pond as well, which which creates them and makes them even bigger stars. It's the future's looking very bright for the boxer fighters, and especially the Cruiserweight division, because I think that next year we're going to get these big fights. But banana skin, baby, this one, because Masternak can fight.
Oh, we do love a banana skin, and I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go straight back to last weekend because we've got to talk about banana skins. You know what? I ran a live that night, and I've said everything that I've got to say. What does Spencer Oliver say about that fight?
I thought for you, Fury lost the fight. I was in the studio. We was doing a watch along, and I don't know if it was where I was sitting there, and I was so blown away by how Francis Ngannou was doing. I'm thinking, fuck, have I just been watching this wrong? Because the close rounds, was I leaning towards Ngannou? And then actually, so I thought I need to go and re-watch this, because on the night I had Ngannou winning by 2 rounds. I could not believe what I'd actually seen, and I'm going to break down in a minute how he done that. But I had him winning by 2 rounds, so I went home, I watched it again for the second time in the morning, and I had Ngannou winning by 1 round. So I thought, right, let me do it again, because I'm getting closer now. So I watched it for the 3rd time, and I had Ngannou winning by 2 rounds again. So what I'm saying is, forget it was 1 round or 2 rounds or whatever, he won the fight in my eyes. I think he done enough, and the reason was, can you believe that I'm even saying this? What? Actually, Ngannou had the fight plan, the game plan, and he stuck to it, and it was the one where you go, Tyson Fury, like, he's got a better boxing IQ, he's been in the ring obviously a lot more, he's got a better footwork, faster hands, so everything goes in favour of Fury. So how did Ngannou pull that off? Because people like Mike Tyson, who's a great student of the game, a great tactician, they've come with a game plan, and they go, right, Ngannou's got slow hands, he's got slow feet, so what we're going to do is we're going to hold our ground, and we're going to impose our figure on him, and wait for Fury to punch, and when Fury punches, we'll punch with him. So the timing created the speed and the game plan, and then he caught him in the 3rd round. Now Fury's on the back foot thinking, and his timing's out, he can't get his rhythm. It's just a bad day at the office, and he wouldn't approach this fight again if it happens again like he did that time, because forget that he was training in great shape, everything else. I know as a fighter, if your mind's not switched on, like as in, and he will say he was, but like fighters going in and he's thinking, really, I've got to turn up, I'm going to showcase my skills. There was talk of him before, talking about how he's been treated over there, and I've got security bringing me through the airports. I don't get that in England, I don't get this. And he's got wrapped up in this whole thing. Right. And that's the thing, and he's taking his eye off the ball and thinking, I've just got to turn up, and then when it don't go right, it's very difficult to adjust in that. And so he's throwing his shots, and he's the one that's looking like he's grabbing in that, and Ngannou's the one that's just imposing his figure and using that lack of speed with timing to create the speed and getting it over the line. And so, yeah, Ngannou won the fight. I think tactically he's done it well. He's proved, we hold our heads in shame a little bit because we thought it was going to be totally non-event.
Same.
Totally non-event. And I go, you know what? I knew that he weren't a bad boxer, but actually he's a very good boxer. And he's just beat the #1 heavyweight of our generation. But what that's done is, I saw her open the door, because now Ngannou's going to be looking at other big fights, and I heard Eddie Hearn going, AJ. But guess what? AJ won't approach that fight like Tyson Fury approached the fight, whereas AJ will go in there going, I'm in a real fight here. And when a fighter goes into a fight thinking that, they're switched on, and it's a different performance. I think that Fury was very surprised by how good Ngannou was. But Ngannou won the fight, and there's no getting away from that.
Fury wasn't the only one that was surprised. I mean, a lot of us were screaming over the internet, watching it, saying, what on earth is going on? I, for one, fair enough, I don't follow MMA, but he's taught me a lesson.
Absolutely.
You literally cannot pick a side until you watch that fight and see how it turns out.
I just think it's the approach from Tyson Fury, though. Like, listen.
When you say approach, go back, because let's go from the approach, Ben, and we talk about his camp. You talk about approach.
I think that the camp was good. I think he's trained well. Like he said that himself.
Yep.
Sparring's good, training's good. The psychological side of things, people must remember about boxers, right? It's 80% physical and 20% mental. It doesn't matter how good you are, yeah? It doesn't matter how good you are. It's about the mental strength of the stuff. Like, if the thing's not going your way, you start questioning yourself. Like, Fury wasn't stepping in with his shots. He was reaching with the right hand, like, because Ngannou, like... And Fury's a great guy at figuring fighters out. And he's great at adapting and everything else. And he just couldn't do it. And Ngannou had his number. It's just one of those nights. And you just look at it and you just go, you know what? It's just he just had a bad day at the office. If it happens again, Fury would go out there and he wouldn't approach it like that, and he would beat him. And people are asking the question now. Well, what about Fury and Usyk now? Like, you know, like, because he said to Usyk, sign the contracts, otherwise I'm going to take you to court. I'm going to sue you. So I don't know where he stands with that, because now Usyk saying 23rd of December it's on. I think that's all down to His Highness, though, on whether he wants that fight on the 23rd or whatever. So it's interesting to see how that plays out. Fury's now wanting this fight next year. Fury won't approach the Usyk fight like he did the Ngannou fight. So forget the fact that he had that terrible performance there. Yeah, but he wouldn't, because he knows that he's going into a real fight. That's what I'm saying. The mental thing is he didn't think he was going into a real fight there. That's the way I think it was, and that's why I think it was such a bad performance. I don't care what people say. It was a fight that I had him down as losing, you know, and that was just being on a total neutral. I just thought he lost the fight.
I've listened to Fight Disciples. Their breakdown was absolutely brilliant. The both of them literally on the night scoring it, watching it after, and both of them, even though they had maybe slight differences in rounds, they both said the same thing.
Same as me. Like, you know what I mean? The second time I watched it, when I had it by a round, I was trying to lean towards Fury. That's my point. So I'm going. So I go. So the round that I've gone closer, I've gone. Oh, I'll give that to him. Actually, I'll give that to Fury, and see where my score comes. And then you still go like that, and you go, well, actually, that round, actually, Fury didn't win that round, and Ngannou did. So whatever way you look at it, the scores come out similar. Do you know what I mean? A round or two rounds, but you know, that's where I'm sat with it.
We talk about mentalities of fighters, and I think, to be fair to Fury, I'm sure he said if he didn't have an injury or he didn't get any injuries from that fight, yes, it would be the 23rd. Yeah. I think that was kind of like the caveat. Yeah. But when you look at like Tyson Fury as a person, and he's gone through his whole career, he's never had a loss. Obviously, this isn't a loss on paper. All right, then, he's never had a terrible performance. What do you think that does? Yes. Well, not to a debutant MMA fighter. No, you got to put it into perspective.
But when he boxed John McDermott the first time, there was a fight that he probably lost by 4 or 5 rounds, and it went his way. He was very fortunate there, to be fair. And I mean, fair play. He put
Spencer Schooling, October Red on the old fight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, he wrote the wrongs of that fight, to be fair, and done McDermott in the rematch. But you know what I'm saying is he's had those fights before where the boxing gods have been with him, and you know we need a bit of luck on our sides and whatnot. You know, like Floyd Mayweather had that when he boxed Castillo the first time. You know, it was a fight that he lost. I thought he lost, but it went his way. All right, so what? With that, you know, them things happen. But let's accept what happened in that result there, you know what I mean? And whether that was Fury's approach or whatever it was, I don't think it's because Ngannou's a better fighter, because Fury is the better fighter. You know, and Fury would still, you'd still rank Fury to beat most of the heavyweights out there right now, even off the back of that performance, because you won't see that Fury again. I think it was a lesson for him to go, listen, you've approached that totally wrong, because this guy's never had a boxing match.
A huge lesson. So how does a fighter overcome that, Spen? Because this is not like say a fight that was just UK based. This was worldwide. This had, you know, all the flashing lights, everything, regress rings coming out the floor, celebrities from Kanye West to Eminem to Rio Ferdinand to Ronaldo. Everyone was there. How do you then feel as a fighter after that performance?
It's a reality check. That's a reality check, and you go, you know what? Because they're going to say, listen, we won the fight. Like, I've heard interviews from Fury and his team saying, oh, well, apart from the round I was knocked down, I won the fight. So they're going to go that way. It's an opinion. Everyone's got one. Everyone's entitled to one. And so 99% of us in the world think that Ngannou won. Well, but that's just an opinion. And the facts are the facts that he won the fight. But for me, it's a reality check to go, I won't underestimate people again. I won't let the occasion, I won't get wrapped up in this whole thing again. Do you know what I mean? Keep your mind on the job, and I think that's a lesson for any fighter, really. Like, forget the shit that's going on around you and building you up on this big platform, rings coming out the fucking floor and massive money and fucking concerts going on. It was like an Olympic opening ceremony. That's great, but you got to do the fucking job. Keep your mind on the job, and I think that's a lesson. He won't make that mistake again, but I think that's the lesson that's needs to be learned. That is, anything can happen in boxing.
We love it. Listen, Spen, we're going to leave it on that note. Always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Brilliant to catch up with you. And yeah, we'll speak soon.
Definitely. I'm looking forward to that.